Welcome back to the Sunday Night Chat. I'm Mike. Back to the normal setting. Although this place is a wreck. It is a disaster area in this apartment. It's pretty bad. I got to clean up. And it's clean. It's dirty up here too. I made a new band. I'm kind of excited. This and I'll do a video on this later. It's my Seiko turtle. I made a double thick layer bison hide band for it the other night. At any rate, I'm wearing the controversial t-shirt. Most people seem to like it. I know it ruffles some feathers, which is why I wear it, because I think that's fun. I gotta be me. So, first normal Sunday night chat now in the past couple weeks, right? Because I've been on the road. And boy, howdy, that was a hell of a time. It was a good time overall. I touched on it. Did a video, I guess it was yesterday. I was in the van and I was just thanking this guy, a fellow artisan I had met while I was up in Monterey. He came by and he's a metal worker, welder, metal sculptor. He made me a nice bronze hook I hung up in the van, and I started talking about the kindness of people. And I just wanted to get into that real quick. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who watches the channel. I do appreciate it. And there are certain people who go above and beyond. You know, I don't do, at least not yet. I don't think I will. You guys know me. If you've been here, I almost never tell you to like the videos. I don't tell you to subscribe. None of that. That's up to you, man. You know how this shit works. If you like it, if you get something out of it, if you like me, who could blame you? You know, then you like the video and maybe you subscribe. I don't know. I'm not begging for anything. Never have, never will. Once in a while I could use a little help with something. I throw that out there and it's nice, but what I'm getting to is there's a lot of YouTubers out there that they get into this. They start doing YouTube because they want to make money. They want to be an influencer or you know, they believe that YouTube could be their career, all that stuff. I had never had any of those ambitions. I am shocked, amazed, awed, and just bewildered by the positiveness, for the most part, of what I see here on this channel. And that's due to you. So thank you. At least I know there's a segment of the population out there that is cool with the way my brain works. That's pretty cool. It's a good litmus test, right? Lets me know that I'm not out of my mind. At least not completely. And having said all that, there's a few people. So Robin and Patrick, you know, you guys are awesome. James, you know, dude, Jim. Because these guys will send me, they know I'm hitting the road, they'll send me a couple bucks to cover gas money and whatnot, which is always greatly appreciated because, you know, you guys know. Currently in between jobs. Looking for my next gig. Let's briefly touch on where I was. You guys followed along, but I went to Monterey, little town of Seaside. Did some work for Jackie and Rich. Oh my God, the nicest people ever. Incredible. And the way that deal works is I get contacted. They tell me what they need, and if it's within the scope of something that I can do, and if the timing is right and I want to do it, we start talking. And the arrangement is you know, we agree on a number, whether it's a price for the whole job, whether it's a price for an hourly rate, whatever. The job's going to, I can't think of the word right now. The job will dictate how I'm charging for it. Like this was a job where it was an old house. I don't know what I'm going to get myself into, so I had to come up with an hourly rate, and I gave him a good break compared to what I can charge down here. And gas, you got to cover the fuel. I don't charge for my time driving, but the fuel has to get covered. And there's going to be a deposit that will cover usually the fuel cost up front and kind of what I did already for you. And it's really just a goodwill gesture knowing, okay, these people are for real. They sent me X amount of money. I can get up there. I'm not going anywhere without anything in hand. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what you're getting yourself into with people. I had to be cautious. Most of the time it's people I know. when I drive across the country. So I know I could trust them. And with these people, absolutely. I mean, what a great time. And so that was fun. And I've mentioned this already, but I'll mention it again because I'm bewildered by it. I hear this all the time. I don't go around thinking I'm the best there is at what I do. I know I'm good at it. I know I'm very creative. I know that I'm a craftsman and an artisan, and I have an imagination. I can pull anything out of my mind and make it happen. Fine. I'm humbled all the time when I start looking at what other people are doing. But having said that, I have always gotten, going all the way back, accolades from people telling me how good I am. Boy, mostly from women. Okay, I gotta stop laughing at my own stuff. Again, I say this, I'm not laughing at the joke. I'm laughing at the fact that I actually said that because it's ridiculous. I know how ridiculous I am. Anyhow, the point is I get that, but I don't believe it. I know it's true most of the time, but I don't allow myself to be like, ah, that's right, I am the best. Because if you do that, then you become a douchebag. And I've really tried to avoid being a douchebag because I know what douchebags are, and I don't like douchebags. Don't want to be affiliated with douchebags. Don't want to be in the same camp with a douchebag. So I'm not a douchebag. So I'll remain humble, and sometimes the issue with that is I almost come off all the time. I do this in the videos. I could tell this from the comments. I forgot to look at the watch again. I come off my videos in a way where like I don't seem confident about what I'm doing because I don't want to seem like a douchebag. Can we say D-bag one more time? Thank you. For the 10 of you that just said douchebag out loud with a big laugh after you said it, thank you for that. I appreciate it. You're my people. So, but because of that, I get these comments of people trying to give me advice on it, even though I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm talking about, and that's fine. On that note, too, real quick, comments when I feel the need to respond. It's interesting. So the channel, it's called Astro Tribe because this is just a little synopsis here for you. A lot of you guys have been here already. You've heard this already. Stick around. I got a whole list of things we're going to talk about. But I want to hit all this real quick. It was called Astro Tribe because when I started getting the numbers, when I started getting viewers to the channel, it was because of the Astro content. That's all. And I'm still doing that, a lot of it. It was interesting at first because I did that. Then I would do some bicycle videos. Maybe I'd do some, woodworking videos. Maybe I'd speak my mind on something. And in the beginning of that, about 4 years ago, I would get comments from people who were only here for one thing. So the people who are here for the Astrovan content would tell me, hey man, what are you doing? I'm here for the Astrovan content. I don't want to know anything about this. I'm not interested in that. And my response to that was always, don't watch. You don't have to watch this video. Not for you then. Wait till I get another Astrovan video up there. Simple. Watch stuff. I got stuff on weapons, knives, Bowie knives in particular, watches, making watch bands, teaching myself leathercraft, building clunker bikes, knowledge on bicycles, the van stuff, politics, whatever it is, I throw it out there. And what's happened is that the people who came for one thing, I guess liked my vibe or style or whatever, and so they started watching the other videos too. And then it kind of just morphed into this vlog of my life. So in every video, no matter what it is, I could pepper anything in and still try to focus on a thing. And this has just become my world, And you guys are along for the ride. Thank you. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. It's weird. But that's what it's turned into. And again, I did not set out to do this. Again, when it comes to responding to comments, from time to time, I just feel the need. I want to talk about something real brief with the van, because I get this from time to time. Somebody will watch a video, and it's usually an older video, and they'll make a comment, but they haven't watched any of the other videos, obviously. So I'll get things like That's not a 4x4 van. Astro van never made a 4. It's an all-wheel drive. Like, they're correcting me on something that, I know this, man. I've done a lot of work to that. That van is no longer a stock Astro van. Not even close. Way better. Way better now. Way more robust. And I had one last night that I responded to because the guy said, I think you're putting too much weight in that thing. Just so you guys understand, because I'm sure some of you were thinking that. The van originally it's a passenger Astro van, all-wheel drive Astro van. There's a third gen. I don't want to get all into the mush on it because the minutia mush, because you'll get lost in that. You're gonna get bored. But the point is, it came with 2 bench seats in it that were very heavy, probably about 100 pounds or more a piece, and all the interior trim, which had quite a bit of weight to it. I ripped all that out, and then I put a build in there that's probably lighter than that stuff. Honestly, I don't have boxed cabinets. I just have facades that are attached. They're very strong. I created these cavities using the wall of the van as part of the cabinet. So I was very smart about it. Those glue up shelves that I put in there, they're only like a 1/2 inch thick. That ceiling, that cedar up there, that's not like inch thick or something. I milled that to less than 3/8 of an inch thick. It's about 5/16 of an inch thick. And it's aromatic cedar. It's very lightweight. So calm your jets on that. Also, stock. The Astro van was designed to haul about 1,800 pounds, roughly. And that was with the factory springs that are garbage. So I've got S10 truck springs on now. I think the ones I have are roughly 1,500 pound springs, which are woefully underrated for the amount of weight I do carry in that thing at times. When I carry my tools in it and stuff like that, I'm geared up and I'm doing those drives. But the van handles fine. I don't get a bunch of sway or anything because I have the S10 springs and I have coilover shocks on it on the rear. Okay? So relax, everybody. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. All right? On this, I know what I'm doing. And I'll be beefing this up. I'm going to have some custom springs made that'll take care of a few issues I have, give me a little more lift in the rear. So, okay, that's off to the side. I just wanted to put that out there. I just had to answer that guy and explain to him it's perfectly fine. Also, another thing on the Astro van, real quick. Right when I first got it, and since then, every time, if I'm not doing my own work, and we put it on a lift at some shop, and guys come around, they look underneath it, they go, that's a truck. So, A, it's not a minivan, it's a mid-size van. That's what they called it from the factory. It was never a minivan, it's a mid-size van. It has more capacity than any other minivan on the market, especially at that time. It was designed to be constructed with a V8 engine, but they chose to put a V6 in it. So you can still put a V8 engine in it, which I'll probably do at some point. It doesn't have a full chassis, so it's a misnomer when you say, and I used to say this, that it has a truck chassis. It doesn't, but it has truck parts underneath it. So the whole front end is basically off like a 1500 Sierra pickup. That's everything. That's what it is. It's the same parts. And, 4-wheel disc brakes, 6 lug wheels, 16-inch wheels. It's a heavy-duty vehicle that can carry some weight, and it could tow over 5,000 pounds from the factory originally. So I'm just saying, throwing all that out there, don't worry about me. I chose the right vehicle. I chose that vehicle for a reason. I know what I'm doing. Let's move on. Now, I was touching on Monterey and the people up there, and it was awesome, and I didn't get to the point I wanted to make, which is this. For those of you that don't know, some of you, this is going to be a rehash of what you've heard before. I've been living alone since I was 14. It's a story. And life seemed to me, for a long time, that it was kicking me in the nuts all the time. And I wasn't always a happy person. But a lot of things came easy to me, although I didn't see it at the time. And I've had a lot of dark times where I felt very, very alone. And then there were periods of time early on when I did realize I had people that cared about me, and I did have friends, and those were wonderful moments. But, I engaged in things in my life, and I did a lot of dangerous stuff, and I didn't think I'd even make it to 30. I remember when I made it to 30 years old, I was like, holy crap, Now what do I do? You know, it wasn't until I was in my 30s when I was like, wow, if I made it this far, I might make it another 10 years or another 20 years. So that's when I started getting more serious about what I do, like to make a living and whatnot. Um, but I wasn't ever comfortable with accepting help from other people and that sort of thing. So I put myself into this world where I was just alone, alone, alone completely. And people who know me well would constantly say to me, like, dude, you need people because I'm good with people. I enjoy being around people. I don't enjoy being around dumb people. I don't enjoy being around, that's right, douchebags. We established that in the first few minutes of the video. So, and I'm hard to be around because I'll hang out, people have a good time, but there's a couple scenarios there. If people don't, the people who don't like the things that come out of me, some of those types of people will try to antagonize me a little bit. And because I come off as a pretty nice guy, these are people out here because they didn't see what I was doing back in Jersey before I got out here, or the other things I've done in my life. And I don't look typically like some kind of guy that'll lose his shit, you know. But I do, and I did. And it wasn't good. Uh, so the point here is like there's just some people ruffle my feathers, and I have to pull away from groups of people. And I've told you guys these stories in the past. Over the last 8 years, I had this experience on my 50th birthday. Since then, it's just been a different life. It's been way more positive and uplifting, and I see things in a different light. And it's been wonderful, and I've been open to it, open to the universe. I'm this hippie warrior guy now, you know. And I'm constantly being amazed at the kindness of other people. You guys are a big part of that. So thank you for that. It's been a wonderful thing, and that's part of the reason why I end the videos. I try to remember to end the videos on a positive note, telling you to be good and all these things, because it's true. And I tell you this quote all the time, Ben Franklin, do well by doing good. That's it. That doesn't mean you're trying to do a bunch of shit so it reflects positively on you. It does make you feel good. And then it seems like this is not it's an energy thing. You get back what you put out. So if you're a negative Nelly and a worry wart and all these other things, that's what you're going to get back. And if you're seeking out things and you're watching things on the boob tube or the YouTube, and you're just watching a bunch of scary stuff and making yourself crazy, that's what you're going to get back. That's going to be your life. I don't feel sorry for you anymore if that's you, because you're doing it to yourself. So stop doing it. That's all I'm saying. A little bug flying around here. Anyhow, the point of all that is I just want to thank the people that I've been running into. And George up there in Vacaville with the Extreme Outback products. Wow, what a guy, man. This guy, he didn't have to do this, man. He put me up in a hotel the whole time I was there. Fed me. I mean, steak every day. He was cooking it right there in the shop. We did this great thing, putting this compressor in the truck. I'm not going to get into that because I've already done it. I did the install video, and then I did a video explaining it because, you know, dumb people. So that's all been explained now. We won't have to get into that anymore. There's a little bit of tidying up I got to do with that. I found a product I got to go through, probably disconnect some things or run some, like an insulator and whatnot around the outside. There's a term for when you wire loom, but I'm going to get a braided thing that's good, better for abrasion and heat resistance, and then redo things. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. That's all coming. But that's it. All right. So that's it for that story with being up there and the people I met. And thanks again to everybody that I met. This guy Russ I met up there, real nice guy, electrician, interesting character. I hope to meet him again. He was a guy that was adamant with me about, like, he wasn't letting me just blow it off. He's like, again, I'm putting this sill in, and I did the Fuller drill bit kit, so it you pre-drill and it creates like a mortise basically round, and it's got a plug cutter kit. So you use the same material. You put the plug kit cutter on your drill, and you cut these little plugs. You pop them in place, and if you get the grain aligned in the same direction, when you cut that flush and trim it with a chisel and sand it, they can be invisible. That's when he came. He was standing over me while I was doing that, and he says to me, he says, dude, there's nobody up here that does what you do. Like, you're a master craftsman. Thanks, man. I mean, I don't know what to take from that. It's hard for me to believe that. it's Carmel, you know, I mean, Carmel, Pebble Beach, all that's up there. Those are the houses he works in. He's telling me that he's working on these multi-million-dollar mansions for all these rich and famous people, and he sees the carpentry all day long, and he says he doesn't see anything anywhere near what he's watching me do. Okay. So him and the people, you know, Jackie and Rich, they're telling me, dude, you could be coming up here all the time. Now, theoretically, that's true, but that would be up to them. That's not up to me. That would be up to them talking to people going, we just had this guy come up here, you should hire him, which would be wonderful if that happened. But I can't ask them to do that. I'd love to do it. That's a nice place to be. But I'm basically a secret, other than those of you that watch me here on this channel. So I'm just throwing that out there. I have tools will travel is not a joke. We got into this in the beginning of the video. I'm willing to do it. I like doing it. If you would like me to come someplace to do something custom for you, or just fix a bunch of stuff that you want done as well as it can be done and you're willing to pay for it, contact me on that. Okay, I just wanted to get all that out of the way. Boy, that was a lot. Apologies. Okay, let's jump to the most, before we get into interesting things that I think are interesting, let's get into the most recent thing. I was watching it last night. That's these floods in Texas. A horrible thing. You know, it's a thing when you watch these videos, because you start reading the comments. And a lot of the videos I was watching were news station videos. There's more and more people are going to YouTube and alternative media, in particular, like independent journalists who go there. I posted a video on my Facebook page last night. There was a guy who was there and did a great thing, and he showed stuff that you don't see in the news videos. The fact that these RVs were completely washed away and the frames of them are wrapped around trees and there's nothing left of the RVs, because RVs are built like crap, is pretty wild. The water is said to have risen about 30 feet in some places within an hour, something like that. I believe there's at least 70 people dead and more missing. It's a horrible thing. Okay, here's the thing. In the comments, people are politicized. Even some of the news people, they show you what's going on, and then they talk about Trump making cuts, and that's why all these people are dead and missing. It's just stupid. It's stupid. Look, I've been out and about, and I've been camping a lot, and I park in the middle of nowhere. And you know what I do? I look at my weather on my phone. Quick tip before I get too far in this. There is another thing you can get, because if you're someplace where you don't have internet access, and I need to get a new one because the one I bought years ago was garbage, and I don't even know what happened to it. Get yourself a NOAA radio, a radio that has the weather channels on it. It could get all kinds of other bands. I think you could hear the police bands on it and whatnot. They're like survival radios. A lot of them are hand crank powered and or solar. You can charge them up first. You can have that on in the background when you're camping, and you'll get these weather reports. And if there's like an alarm going off, it'll tell you. You should have one of those, straight up. Another thing is, you have to be aware of your surroundings. I'm not blaming the people for this solely, you know, but you are camping in a place that is prone to flooding. This isn't the first time this has happened. Apparently it happens a lot there. So you should be aware of that. If it starts raining hard, you might want to wake up in the middle of the night. Now, these people were sleeping when it happened. The criticisms are just dumb that I'm seeing, because they're trying to say nobody was warned, nobody was told, there was no, you know. How are you going to tell these people this? It's in the middle of the night. It's up to them to heed warnings. Hey, it looks like that we're going to get some rainstorms. We're in a floodplain. Should we be camped right here? Should we do that? The one thing I think could have helped, and I'm not throwing blame on anybody, but the campground itself. This is something for them to think about. If somebody's watching this and can get this to them, this idea, they should have some friggin', like we have all over LA, vintage, like going back to World War II, still there are air raid sirens all over the city. That's what you need there. You need an air raid type siren that's hooked up. And it has to be a notice. It has to be on the website when you go to register for a campground. It has to be in the paperwork. It has to be on a sign. There's an air raid sign. If you hear the siren go off, get up and get out and move your shit. Like, that's all we need. That's all we need. Because, and then the people who have a campground in an area, any area, if it's prone to flash floods, if it's prone to hurricane force winds, if it's prone to tornadoes, if it's prone to any sort of natural disaster, which is unpredictable. I mean, you can see a barometric pressure thing happening if you're paying attention to that stuff. You could be watching the weather. You could check the weather on your phone to say, oh, we're going to get some rain. They're saying X amount. Like, they called for a couple inches rain, 6 to 8 inches, but way more rain than that fell. Nobody knew that was going to happen. There's no way to predict all that in that amount of time when it happens that fast. It's like they talk about these things, which we have here now. They're earthquake warnings. Well, by the time you get the earthquake warning, there's not much you can do before the earthquake hits. You understand what I'm saying? You certainly aren't going to be able to pack your family up in a car and move it someplace. I'm just saying. People have this bullshit, and everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon of, and the media is all anti-Trump. I don't care what it is. That's what it is. So it's hard. It's really hard to read these comments because there's just so much stupid. There's just so much stupid there. And it's aggravating. I'm just throwing that out there. It's a sad thing that happened, but that's about all you could do. Like, the people who own the campground, this is the first time it's happened. This is the first time I've had this thought. It might be the first time you've heard me say some of these things here. But I'm certain that if you could scan through all the videos I have, there's a lot of them. It'll take you forever. At some point, I've mentioned things like this before. I got a whole page called Los Angeles Urban Survival that I really don't do anything with anymore, where I would talk about stuff like this, and I do posts and whatever. It is kind of your responsibility, if you own a business, if you own a campground that's prone to some sort of natural disaster, to somehow be aware of possible weather. You know, you guys should have something, you know, some sort of radio system, a NOAA system that's on 24/7, because you will get these alerts on those NOAA radios. So you can buy these on Amazon. I don't have one now. Maybe I'll buy one soon. And maybe some company will hear me talk about it now and offer me one. It'd be a good thing to do a review on. But if a business, if a campground had that, and that alarm went off in their place at 3 o'clock in the morning going, hey, flash flood warning, hey, they could get up right away, hit a button, a siren could be going off and wake up everybody in the RV park. They could have a pre-taped message as well. Wee, wee, wee. Notice we just got, it could be it all comes out at once, one little tape. It could say, hey, notice possible flash flood warning in the area right now. Please take appropriate action, you know, whatever. And that could mean, like, if you were there with your family, you know, you wake up and you go, it's not worth it. Let's just drive to the high ground. And by the way, that would all be worked out too already, right? Like, I was watching the video where the where the structures are of the people that own the campground. They're on a higher ground. Their buildings are there. Everybody else was camped down low, kind of in the gully where the water runs through. They're gone. Everything's gone. So, okay, boom. If you hear that, if that button gets hit, boom. I did hear there's more reporting. I watched a bunch of videos last night. It's all still pretty new. There's still more stories coming in on it. From what I understand, it's one particular RV park. They were warned, and people got out of their thing, and it saved most of the people. But they were like in their underwear, sleeping clothes, whatever. They got nothing now. At least they lost everything that was in at their campground, in their RVs, their cars, and whatnot. So that's about the only thing you can do. All right? It's not about cuts at any agency, and that's why this happened. No, 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 no. This happened because weather. Right? That's Mother Nature. You can't fool with Mother Nature. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Fight back against the stupid. Please. We all have to do it. It can't be just me going in there and anonymous. You know, I'm not anonymous, but I'm some stranger to these people. I'm going, hey, pull your head out of your ass. Doesn't work like that. Stop. Stop with the politicizing bullshit. We have to keep fighting back on this. Every single one of us. All right? You have to do it. You have to do it. All right. Can't just be me. All right, what else was I going to talk about here? We got that out of the way. You know, I'm not going to get into too much Trump stuff. I will. I heard a couple things, and you know, I mentioned this, and somebody always corrects me, but I did hear in some states that gas was about $1.99. That's pretty cool. I heard that we're on track to have the lowest murders ever recorded, something like that. I don't know how true that is, but that sounds pretty good. A lot of good things happening. I know there's a lot of controversy over this bill that got signed. We don't know. Stop with your negative predictions and trying to make everybody feel bad. That's all that is. I've been around long enough on this planet to have heard negative predictions about everything that have never come to pass. We're still not underwater, by the way. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, so, you know, these same people have been screaming negative crap forever. Everybody keeps believing it. They let themselves get all worked up, and then what happens? Nothing. So relax. Relax. Let's just, it doesn't matter what happens. Whatever happens, we'll deal with it. But from what I'm seeing in the last 5 months or so, we're coming up on 6 months now, to me, it's been a net positive across the board with everything, other than the bullshit that the media keeps creating to keep dividing us. That's where the problem is. So I'm just saying, I'm okay with everything. The Elon Trump thing is interesting to me. Elon's making a mistake. I've said this before. It's fine. Elon is a child. Elon's a genius. Elon is he's like a 9-year-old kid that was told to always be honest and work hard, always do your best, and that's his mission. That's the way his brain works. And he has these expectations with things. It's like a chick. It's like I tell every woman I've ever gone out with, hey baby, no expectations, no disappointments. You know what I'm saying? Stop with the expectations. So he gets upset because he had expectations. They don't exactly pan out right. And he starts doing all these things. And we know he's emotional. He makes emotional decisions. He's wealthy enough and smart enough. This is the crazy thing. He can make a seemingly bad decision, but because he did it, he has to stick with it. And he works so hard at it that he takes a seemingly bad decision, which would have been a bad decision to anybody else. He works through it, and in the end, he turns it into a positive, and it seems to me most of the time ends up making a profit. But that can only happen with that kind of money, that kind of brain power, and that kind of patience. A lot of those things, not a lot of people have those things. He's got that. And as far as like them arguing in public, big fucking deal, man. It's 4th of July. I love American history. I can't recall it all now, but I went down the rabbit hole on this decades ago, and it's so much fun reading, the Federalist Papers and whatnot, and personal letters between the founding fathers and other people. And I like reading diaries of people that fought in the World War, firsthand accounts of battles. I found this great website where it's all Revolutionary War all the time. I think the girl's name is Katie. Oh my God, do I have a crush on her now? I only discovered her yesterday. The Boston accent's kind of hard. That's a little harsh, man. That's a little hard, for you to get hard or stay hard. You know what I'm saying? The ba. Like, there's nothing attractive about that, but I think she's gorgeous. And I love her enthusiasm and her sense of humor. And, I suppose that accent could grow on you. I don't know. She's fun. But she's really breaking it down. And something interesting happened this week, but I want to get back to this real quick. If you were to go back and read newspapers from the time period, and going right through to the 19th century, like the early 19th century, and you just keep going, the political stuff, the things that people said about one another that was published for the public to hear and read about, really, there was no television or radio, what they said about it, way worse. 10 times worse than Trump and Elon. Amazing. All right, and that's how it used to be. What happened was the CIA got involved in things, government got in bed with politics, and they sanitized things. And it got to a point where media, working with people in government, they're married to them. They're related to them, they're fucking them, they're in bed with them. It's this cabal that's happened. It's not really a free press like it used to be. They're all in cahoots, even if it's not like an organized conspiracy. It just kind of works out that way because they're all tied together. Businesses, cronyism, back alley deals, information sharing, stock market stuff, insider trading. You know, all that stuff is happening. So they control the narrative. There's only a few families really that own all the media. So they control the messaging. So it became somewhat sanitized. A lot of what we hear, pretty much everything we hear, is what they want us to hear. We don't know what's really going on anymore. It's changing right now, in real time, because of the internet. All right, because of citizen journalists and all that sort of thing. So you can go down rabbit holes and get more information and find this stuff out. So it's an interesting time, and it's a good thing. But it's funny to me where people take all this shit seriously. Don't watch other people's opinions anymore. When you see some guy and he's got two other people on and they're giving you their opinions, and who gives a fuck what they say? You know what I'm saying? Listen to this shit yourself. If you're interested in it, try to find the time. It's easier for me. Again, no kids I know about, no wife get me to do other things I don't want to be doing with my time. I do what I want with my time, which is wasting a lot of it lately. Waste a lot of time. I watch it. I watched some of it today, and I'm just like, man, all this is about is supporting tribalism and getting us to hate one another. It's so crazy. And they're taking something somebody says and making it a big deal when it's not a big deal. I mean, how many times have you seen already in the media reporting on something Trump said? It was going to be all this bad stuff, and Trump and Elon, when they had their feud earlier, then they get back together. That's all that's going to happen. That's all that's going to happen. Everything's going to be fine. So stop with the worry wart stuff. Go about your lives, man. What else did I have on here? Getting into the 4th of July and history. Just a really fun thing happened. Amazing. I love, so, sorry. I'm from New Jersey. And I lived up in North Jersey for a while, like 3rd, 4th grade. Only part of 4th grade. We lived all over North Jersey. At one point, we were up in Suffern County there. Sussex County. Vernon, New Jersey. We lived in at some point when I was a kid. Anyhow, when I lived up there, all of our class trips were to places that had to do with the Revolutionary War. Battles, places where George Washington slept, stuff like that. So if you're born and raised in one of the original 13 colonies, it's just natural, at least it was back then. In 4th grade, it was 1976, man. So we had the bicentennial. That was a big friggin' deal that year. And you just have this natural love for, you should, I don't know, I do, for that history and the patriotism of the, the country. And it's a cool thing. And as I've gotten older, I paid more and more attention to it. I even have a whole movie idea. I'll talk to you about that. We'll get into that in a second here. At any rate, I'm also a fan of some actors and actresses, but, as time progresses, less and less of them, the more I hear them talk. One guy that still impresses me as a human being, who I think seems like a really cool human being, is Kurt Russell. And only recently has he learned that his 8th grandfather, going back, great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, was this guy, I forgot his first fucking name already now, but last name is Russell, and he was killed by the British during the Battle of Monatomy, I think is the name of it. I think I wrote it down. Oh, Menatomy. Menatomy? I think it's Arlington now they call it. It's in the Boston area. I don't know Boston very well, but I've watched a bunch of videos on it now. It's friggin' crazy, man, and there needs to be a story on this, and hopefully he'll do it. The story is, and I'll tell you what, watch that series I've told you guys about before. It's called The Sons of Liberty. It's not 100% historically accurate because the ages of the people and everything, but what happened. And so the Battle of Concord and Lexington was the colonials had stockpiled a bunch of weapons on this one guy's farm, and the British found out about it and went to get it. But, you know, we found out about them. So we got all that stuff out of there, and there was a battle there. But that wasn't as bad as what happened afterwards, which I had never heard before. I probably did, but I don't remember. And now I know. So on the way back to Boston, the colonials were just, something like 5,000 of them had shown up from all these other areas around the area. And so they started just hammering the British on their march back to Boston. And it was brutal. And we were just killing them. Just because they're walking in a straight line wearing red coats, and we're hiding behind trees and rocks and shit and just picking them off, man. It's a friggin' turkey shoot. But they got smart, and they put out flanking sections, so that, they would encounter things first, and then the column could react and, try to save their men. But they're taking this road, and down the road there's houses along the way. Houses, farms, rock walls, all that sort of thing. And this one group of, I'm calling them colonials, there's another name for it, but it's our guys, right? When they got to Menatomi, is that what it is? It's a friggin' weird word, Menatomi, I think that's correct. When they get there, there's the Russell house, and a bunch of our guys go into that house to hide. And what had happened was they got caught between the main column coming down the road and the flanking section. They were between the two of them. That's a dangerous place to be. So people were scattering, shooting British. They're getting killed. There's a lot of hand-to-hand fighting the whole way. And a bunch of these guys ran into this house. Many of them went into the cellar. This guy, Russell, who owned the house, he was 59 years old. He had gotten his wife and kids out of the house, and he had gone back to the house. Apparently, he was doing some of the fighting, too. He had a lame leg, they say. I don't know what that means. Busted leg, or he just had a leg that maybe got fucked up in the French and Indian Wars. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole on his whole life yet. But I will. He is encountered by the British as he's trying to get into his own house, and they shoot him a couple times, and then they bayonet him something like over 20 times, just stabbed with bayonets at the stoop of his own friggin' house. The British go into the house, they clean it out, they shoot and kill everybody in there, but it's worse than that. They cut them up, they drag everybody into the kitchen, finish murdering them, they crush their skulls. The wife goes back to find her husband dead at the stoop, and she said that the blood and other fluids was ankle deep in the kitchen. It's horrific. The guys in the basement survived, because they got set up. They had the doors closed, but when the doors opened and one of the Brits came down, they shot them. That happened a couple times, and there's still bullet holes, their own bullets, as they're trying to shoot out through the basement doors. So you would think that wouldn't be a good place to hide, but it turned out to be a pretty smart way to go. They survived. It's amazing. And this is Kurt Russell's direct relative, and he's just now finding out about it. So there's some interesting interviews with Kurt Russell up there now talking about it, and you can see the passion in him, and I would not doubt, I would bet money we're going to see a movie on this. A movie or a mini-series would be good. A Netflix mini-series would be good, because something that's 8 episodes long or something would be a lot of fun. I'm just into this stuff, especially the historically accurate stuff. Maybe somebody can help me. There was one that was on, I believe it was the History Channel. It might have been called Spies. I got to look it up. And it was all during this time period, and but I think it was New York, in New York and the surrounding area there, and it was very well done. They always fuck up the history. They never get it accurate, and I don't know why they don't do that, because there's no excuse not to do that. I think producers get involved, directors, they got a vision that's not real, had nothing to do with reality, and that shit pisses me off, and they just keep doing it. It's aggravating, but maybe Russell would do something here that would be accurate, which gets me to this story, the Black Commando story. It's all true. I've told it before. I'd heard about it from David Barton of Wall Builders when he was on Glenn Beck 20 years ago. And it was a story about how a group of black militiamen, free men, I believe they were from Rhode Island, led by a white officer, I believe, went to capture a British general so we could use him in a prisoner exchange to get back this other general that they had captured of ours, this guy General Lee. It's a fascinating story. This General Lee guy had been a British officer during the Indian Wars. And so he was here, and he really wanted to be running our military. He was real pissed off when Washington was chosen. And he was kind of, by all accounts, he was kind of this pompous jackass. And so he was always talking shit about George Washington. You just imagine this, you know? Oh, that Washington doesn't know what he's doing. This is so funny to think about. I'd love to be involved in this project. What happened was, I'm going to tell you the story, but there was a guy that I knew when I first got here in the 90s, Craig Ross Jr. Look him up. He's a director. He's a director, producer. I think he writes. he put me in the first movie he ever made, Cappuccino. I have a copy of it, but I think it's VHS. It's no big deal. It's a low budget flick. Crazy thing was, it was at Blockbuster. I went home in like 98. No, whatever. It was in the 90s I went home. I think that was around the right time. Late 90s, and it was just out on Blockbuster. So it was a big deal when I went home because a bunch of my friends could see me in a movie. That was crazy. I play as detective. I have a couple lines. It's not a big deal. I never even got to read the script. He called me up. He goes, dude, you want to do this? I had good ideas. Whatever I said, he put in the thing. And that was it. He moved on and has become very successful in Hollywood, and he directs a lot of, well, he was doing CSI stuff. We reconnected in 2010, right? So 15 years ago, we reconnect because of Facebook. He's like, let's meet for coffee. Meet for coffee. He's a black guy. It's important. So, because he was programmed with a bunch of liberal bullshit when he was in college. And that became a problem for us because I told him this story, which I'm going to tell you. And he says to me, he says, dude, if you write up a treatment for me, I'll help you develop it. Great. So here's the story, and here's what happened between me and him, because it still kind of sticks in my craw a little bit. The story is that this General Lee guy goes against his own orders. I think it was Brandywine, New Jersey. I could have that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. He goes to a pub with some bodyguards, like a small group of guys, to get laid. That's it. He wants to get drunk and get fucked. So he's got some chick upstairs, and the British come in. Right? They take out his guys, they go upstairs, they capture him in his underwear. They imprison him. Now, at the time, imprisoning a general isn't like, they're not putting him in the Castile or something, or on a prison ship like they were doing to a lot of our guys, which is horrific. They had our guys on prison ships, man, out in these harbors. That was, look into that, read about that. That was brutal. The guys dying, getting disease, fucking terrible, horrific shit. The British were horrific to us. So, at any rate, they basically got him, they put him up in a hotel, basically, right? They're feeding him meals, giving him wine and everything else. And he is trying to help the British. But because he was an American officer, thankfully, the British don't believe him. They think he's lying. Thank God, because he had all kinds of inside information. So what happened, now during his time, in order to get a prisoner back, excuse me, I'm sorry I'm doing this, but something's caught my teeth here. Yeah. That was the skin of a blueberry. All right. I'll pick my nose next for you. Maybe there'll be some farting if you're lucky. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to talk about something. We'll get to that. Anyhow, so prisoner exchanges needed to be somebody of the same rank or higher. That's the way it was working. So we needed a general. And there was this other general, and his name escapes me at the moment, but he was a real scumbag. He was up there in the Rhode Island area. It was wild. It was really, really cold. It was before the end of, it was during the Little Ice Age. People never talk about this. The Revolutionary War, the Napoleonic Wars, all that happened during the Little Ice Age. So the winters were much, much cooler. And it was hard to survive. And that guy, had his soldiers taking the front porches and stairs and shit like that off of people's homes to burn to keep the soldiers warm during the wintertime. Insane stuff that they were doing. I just feel really drawn to this time period. At any rate, we had to capture him. So this group of these black commandos go in and they paddle by the ships. They got like burlap tied on the oars so it wouldn't make a splashing sound, you know, and they get on land, they get to this building, and he's described as a big black guy. I think he had a bald head, and he called himself Prince so-and-so, I forget the name, but he rams the door with his head twice to break the door down, and they capture a British general in the same state that the British had captured General Lee in, and they capture him in his underwear. It's crazy. And they do the prisoner exchange. That's the story. There's more to it. I'm making it brief for you. So when I developed it, I came up with an idea for a script where I kind of told a story, and then I was I put links from the internet in and clipped out some stuff to create a story so Craig could look at it and go, okay, he knew it was real. But the way I was doing the story was I imagined it as a flashback story. And at the time, I thought of Louis Gossett Jr. and Freeman, you know, the guy, the voice of God. And I can't think of his first name all of a sudden. As being like, you know, maybe like in the early 19th century at a pub, hanging out, you know, two old black guys, like we do today, like, right, guys that went to war or whatever, guys who were in the military, they get together annually, they have a little get together, talk about it, and I imagine some little black guy, little black kid sweeping the floors or something, coming up to them, listening to them like, wow, you guys were part of the war, and them telling them this story. And I worked in the 3/5 clause, which I've talked about here before. The 3/5 clause was put in to end slavery. It's not a racist thing. As a matter of fact, it's completely the opposite of racist. It says, for the purposes of enumeration, slaves will only count as 3/5 of a whole. Because in the South, they were trying to count the slave population as for representation for the South, for power in Washington. States' power is based on population. So they didn't want slavery in the North. So they were telling them, no, we can't do that. We'll allow you this. That's what the 3/5 clause was about. And in my little script, I had them tell that story. That's what it was about. Well, Craig didn't like that. He never heard that before. And he couldn't accept it as truth. So then I had to send him the Constitution. I had to send him everything written, the 3/5 clause, everything that's in there, and show him that it says, for the purposes of enumeration. Specifically. They weren't saying black people weren't equal to white people or anything like that. Humans are humans. All created equal. He couldn't accept it because of his programming from college. That's what it boils down to. And the fact that he's a black guy and he is identifying with the black plight and everything else and all that stuff that's driven into these guys to help keep us divided. And the whole purpose for me with that story, which I still think would be a viable idea for a film, would be truth. Because I truly believe that if black people here in this country knew more of their real history, not all the stuff where Whitey fucked them over, right? But where they participated to help. One of the first people killed was during the Boston Massacre. It was a black guy shot by the British. Free black men have been fighting in every war that this country has fought since its inception. It's the same thing with cowboy history. There was tons of black cowboys, man. Most people don't even know about it. There's so much black history that's real. That is something that we should be aware of and celebrate, you know, because they're as American as the rest of us. I mean, that's just how it is. So it's crazy. I just want the truth to be out there, and we should all take pride in what, you know, people that, you know, came before us that are in our lineage did to put us here. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but he couldn't get it through his fucking thick skull. I had to walk away from it. And that's, you know, that was then. That was 15 years ago. If that was happening today, I'd be like, all right, man, we'll leave that part out. Let's just get it done. And that's why we don't see truth in film. Right there. I just described it for you. Because to get something done sometimes, you got to appease people that you can't get through to. You know. Anyhow, that's what's going on. I think it's really cool. It'd be really neat if Kurt Russell makes this happen. I would love it. I eat that shit up with a spoon, man. Farting. Okay, let's talk about pooping real quick. So it's the thing about me when I go on the road. one of the things I miss about being here in LA, or even my house in Arizona, is my bidet. I love my bidet. I love it. I like having a clean asshole. There's nothing wrong with admitting that, all right? It's amazing. The thing about it is, it's a thing. Because you're basically giving yourself an enema after you shit. That's basically what's happening. I mean, if you do it powerful enough, it comes in handy. Because it shoots the water up in there and it really cleans you out. The problem is when it cleans you out, it'll blow out, man. So, you know, you got to clean that up. Now, here's the thing. Some people, a lot of you, think that that's gross. You're like, oh my God, poop, caca, shit, ah. Shitting is part of life, man. You've been shitting since you were shat out. Get over it already. Poop, piss, blood, sweat, tears, the rest of the bodily fluids. You're an eating, drinking, screwing, shitting machine. That's what you are. That's what the human body is. So get over it already. All right? A little bottle with some Simple Green in there. You spray that stuff down, take a piece of toilet paper, water it up a little, wipe it out, boom. Yes, for a lot of people, that is too much to deal with. You don't want to deal with it. You'd rather have a worn out, dried out, scratched up ass from just using paper that's still dirty. You know, that's what. Or you can have this. Spray some water up there, come out clean, use less paper. So I want to always tell everybody to get a bidet, but you got to deal with cleaning it out. Funny subject, I know. But, you know, you're on the road, you're at somebody else's house. Like, my tip is if you can reach the sink, you know, you wet the paper. The problem with that is it takes a while to do that. So every time you go to the bathroom, in my mind, I'm paranoid. I'm like, what do they think I'm doing in here? I'm just making sure my asshole is clean. But I can't go out there to perfect strangers and go, sorry it took so long to be in the bathroom. I was just making sure my asshole is clean. Because you don't own a bidet. So this year for Christmas, buy everybody, you know, a bidet. You can get them for like $30 on Amazon, man. They make them now, they have a little shield on it. A little plastic shield so it doesn't get as dirty. It splatters on that, you wipe that off real quick. I have that. The problem is, you open it and it pivots on this little and I broke the plastic thing, so I have it wedged in there, but it could fall off now. Really, so now I got to buy another one. Maybe the technology's better. Every time I look, there's a new thing that they fix. So maybe they'll make one that's got an industrial strength pivot arm on there that won't snap. Because that's the only problem. That's the only problem owning a bidet, is the fact that you got to clean it. It's worth it to me. It's worth it to me. Hygiene is a big thing with me. And ladies, just beware, because they make them too where there's two of them, two nozzles, and one will spray more forward for the ladies, so it'll hit your lady parts there in the front. The only problem with that is be prepared to spend 45 minutes on the toilet, because you're not going to want to get off the thing. So husbands, I'm just telling you, beware. You know, it's crazy. And you'll know who they are, because they're the ones with the wand in the shower. Right? That's not just the shower head. They got the magic wand, because you know what they're using that for. That's why women take showers like an hour friggin' long or something. The cat's out of the bag, ladies. We know what you're doing. It's okay. Just maybe let us watch once in a while. That's all we want. Just let us watch a little bit once. All right. Where are we? We're probably close to an hour. Have I missed anything on my silly list here? Oh, I've been doing these videos lately. I did one, they're shorts. It's the dirty electrician stuff. Look, guys, don't be so defensive. Obviously, I'm not talking about all electricians. What it was I came back from the trip. And the Johnsons, the people whose house I have my workshop in their garage, the front light went out. And I tried to fix it myself, and it didn't work. They had to have an electrician come. I met the guy. It's his own business. Nice guy, affable fellow. He had this young guy with him, like an apprentice, I guess. After talking to him, I felt really good about him. He definitely knew what he was talking about. He was doing everything right. Fine. I get back from the trip. Lights working. It's some new LED thing, and the Johnsons were telling me, they were like, well, he just didn't get us the directions. He never got back to us. I'm like, directions for a light switch? It's an LED thing that apparently could change color and whatnot. They don't know how to do that. Not that they need to. So I walk over to the door, and I look at the switch, and you guys saw the video. It's a short, dirty, lazy electricians. There are handprints and tool scarring. This is a section of wall that just a couple months ago had cracks and everything, and I patched all the cracks. Perfect. You can't tell it ever happened. And repainted it. It was freshly painted. It looked like $1 million. Now it's handprints and scars from tools, and the switch plate covers cracked. Horrible, fucking horrible, man. Unacceptable. When I started getting into, I didn't start out doing home improvement work. I started out being a gopher, like driving a truck and getting coffee and shit and cleaning up the job site when I got out of the service. And I quickly moved up, and we were building some condos in town, and that got stopped. And then we started building custom houses, and right away, the son of the owner, took me into the boat build. They owned a marina, they had a boat building, and I was building furniture right from the jump. Made my own water bed, everything. I had the aptitude for it. And I moved up from there. We did everything. We would put the forms in, pour the footings, do the block work. I mixed all the cement myself. If I wasn't there to mix the cement, they didn't even work that day, because the mason, the guy, World War II vet, engineer from World War II, Howard Fellner, 68 years old at the time, was so happy with the mix that I made, because he told me how to do it right. 9 shovelfuls of sand, this much lime, boom, 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 perfect every fucking time. So we did footings, block work, framed the whole house, sheathed the house, sided the house. I didn't do any roofing at that time, plumbing or electrical. Everything else we did. I learned how to do tile, formica, made my own countertops, did my first kitchen all by myself with these guys, built my first deck completely by myself with these guys. That was my training ground. But then I got with this guy, Roy Karch, and that was home improvement work. And Roy was a stickler about it. And he's the guy who drilled it into me. He's like, hey, you leave every place cleaner. New home construction is different. When you go into somebody's house, you got to leave that place cleaner than you found it. Every single time. That's what you do. You bring some paper bags with you. You make sure you have a... Now, I usually will ask the homeowner for a bag and a broom or something. Sometimes I bring it, but usually the homeowner's got it. I do that. I'll wet some paper towels. I'll wipe things down. A lot of the times, the homeowner will catch me doing that. They go, no, don't worry, I'll take care of that. And it's almost an argument. I'm like, no, I have to do this. They're like, no, I'll take care of it. Let them take care of it if it gets to that point, because in their mind, they see that they're paying you to clean up. And time is money, right? So that might be the thing going on in their brain. But the point is, at least make that effort. You certainly should never leave the job in the condition that I show in that video. Dirty, lazy electricians, right? Here's the thing. I started getting pushback from electricians. Oh, you didn't pay them enough. That's why they're not that good. You got to hire a proper guy. Like, shut the fuck up with that, man. I've been in the trades nearly 40 years. Electricians, known for this shit. Known for it. I've been in new homes where they'll put motion sensors in corners of rooms. Dirty handprints all around the motion sensor. On the ceiling of both walls. And then you look down on the ground, it's all the wires from the end, because they're stripping wires and putting stuff together. Anything that they use that fell on the ground is sitting right there under it. All over the house. All over the house. They almost never pick up after themselves. If you're an electrician that picks up after yourself, let me give you a hand. Thank you. Thank you, because you know. So when I do this and I say these things, I'm clearly not saying every electrician does this. I am saying I've seen this for nearly 40 years. It is the norm. It is the fucking norm. So don't argue. If you don't do it, good. I'm glad you don't do it. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Not talking about you. So don't stop. Why are you so sensitive? Stop eating the soy, bro. Stop. Eat a friggin' steak. Lift some fucking weights. Do some pull-ups. Do some push-ups. Man yourself up a little bit. Stop being so sensitive. All right? Stop being so sensitive. I'm getting tired of this shit. People hear something that triggers them and they get defensive. Shut the fuck up. If I'm not saying your name or your company name, I'm not talking about you. I'm generalizing like we all do as humans. Would you like it should I break it down? Okay. Some electricians do it. Some electricians. Some electricians don't. Okay. Are you happy now? Sensitive bastards. All right. Stop with it already. Are we men or not? Are we not men? There's women. I have a woman electrician. She's awesome. She always cleans up after herself. It's hard to get her though, man. She went to commercial stuff. That's the thing. People are like, you got to get a better guy. I guess it depends on where you happen to live, but I live in the city, man. Los Angeles, very hard to get good electricians and plumbers and whatnot. They're there. It takes a while to get them here to any job, and they charge a lot of money. A lot of money. Well, they're like at least 125 an hour, 135 an hour or more. That's about what I'm charged. I could charge more than that, and I do sometimes. But if I don't like doing hourly, I'd rather just do a day rate or something for you. But it just depends. But contractors out here, they're charging 185 to 250 bucks an hour, in that range. But they have a lot more overhead, right? So they're bonded, or they've got insurance and all these things. So it makes sense. They have to. So I could charge less than that, and be happy, and everybody being licensed, bonded, all that doesn't have anything to do with the quality of your work. It makes people feel more comfortable, helps you out if you got a real business and employees and everything. I'm just a one-man band. I'm just one guy. So not everybody's comfortable having a guy like me come in, because they feel like they need that like kind of safety net catch thing. And I get that. If you're not comfortable with me, I don't need to work for you. It's okay. I've been doing this long enough. I have a huge body of work. I've so far, knock wood, no problems yet. Almost 40 years of doing it. Everything's fine. I probably do things a little bit better than most people. That's just how it is. But I'm just saying, that's what's going on. It is hard. So my point with that is because they are in such demand, they can show up anywhere, do the work however they choose. They're usually doing it to code and everything. That's good. But as far as the mess left behind, they don't care. Doesn't matter to them. Most of the time, they're never coming back to that same job. So they don't care. That's the reality. If you happen to care, good for you. Once again, applaud you. Thank you. Keep that up. Tell others. When I'm working on jobs, it's been a while since I've done this, especially new home construction, where there's a bunch of guys working. It's usually Hispanic guys. I talk to them and I tell them the same thing. Get here on time or early. Be the last one to leave. It looks good. Leave the place cleaner than you found it. Always clean up after yourselves. Work on your English. If you can communicate in English, it's going to help you out. Eventually, you could be me. It's very simple. Take pride in what you're doing. Right now, you're on monkey see, monkey do level, right? You were taught to do something a particular way. Think about what you're doing. How can you make it better? How can you make it cooler? How can you make it stronger? How can you make it look better? Start using your brain. Apply yourself. Learn to take some pride in what you do. Stop believing the bullshit that other people are drilling into your head, that people look down on you because you're brown and all. That's all bullshit. If you're a good craftsman, you take pride in what you do. If you can communicate with people, if you're timely, you do what you say you're going to do. You understand what I'm getting at? It's called work ethic. You develop that, you can make anything happen. People will respect you for it. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, what color your skin is. If you're good at what you do, and you work hard, and you're honest, you look somebody in the eye, and you tell them what you're going to do, and you pull it off. That's it, man. That's all anybody wants. Very simple. With that, I'll leave you guys to the rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was all over the place. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do to the van here coming up this week, and I don't even know what I'm doing next. I'll be in Arizona though mid-month. It's supposed to cool down, so I'm gonna go out there, see the family and all that good stuff. So I'll bring you guys along with me for the ride. Be good humans. Do something nice for somebody. Give somebody a compliment out of the blue. Just make them feel good. Making people feel good is a nice thing. You look marvelous. I'll catch you in the next one.